For years, people viewed Tbilisi as a cheap market. Cheap apartments, cheap labor, cheap entry prices. But something is changing, and it's changing fast. We are now seeing luxury projects in Tbilisi pushing into the $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 per square meter territory. We've got Eagle Hills, Trump Tower, Immobiliare, Vake, high-end branded developments. And the big question is, what does this actually mean for the future of Georgian real estate? Let's talk about the old Tbilisi story. All right, for a long time, Tbilisi's international appeal was based on one thing: affordability. Foreigners looked at Georgia and thought, wow, I can buy an apartment in a European-style city for a fraction of Dubai, London, or even Eastern Europe. That was the story. And honestly, that story worked. It attracted digital nomads, early investors, Airbnb operators, remote workers, small developers, yield-focused buyers. But cities evolve, and eventually successful cities move upmarket. So now we've got the new luxury wave. Tbilisi is no longer selling affordability, although there is affordability here, but starting to sell more lifestyle, more prestige, master-planned communities, branded residences, lobbies and facilities, premium amenities, exclusive identity. And that's what changes everything. Lifestyle. When you see names like Eagle Hills, Trump Tower, luxury branded residences basically, or ultra premium towers and Vake, high-end mixed-use developments, you realize something important. This city is trying to reposition itself globally, I say. Now, why is this happening? Well, here's a few reasons. There's rising international attention. Georgia has become significantly more visible internationally over the last few years. Wealth migration were number two. Family offices and wealthy individuals from neighboring regions are increasingly looking for safer jurisdictions, lifestyle cities, second residences, summer houses, investment diversifications, and plainly emerging markets. For number three, limited prime land. There's really little true premium inventory compared to mature cities. Psychological shift, once buyers begin accepting higher prices in one landmark project, the ceiling of the city changes. It gets more and more expensive. And that's very important because real estate pricing is partially economics, but also psychology. Here's the $3,000 to $5,000 per meter questions. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is Tbilisi actually worth $3,000 to $5,000 per square meter, like the capitals in the neighboring countries? Some people think it's insane. Others think this is just the beginning. Because look at Armenia, look at Turkey, look at Azerbaijan. In my opinion, the answer depends entirely on location, as always, branding, views, scarcity, amenities, execution quality, long-term urban vision. A random apartment in a random building, no. All right, but truly prime assets in transformational projects, now that's a different conversation. The Dubai parallel, I always like to call it. As someone who grew up in Dubai, this feels familiar. Dubai also went through phases where people said, nobody will pay these prices. This is just way too expensive. Who would buy here? Who would buy there? Then slowly and slowly the city repositioned itself globally. And I'm not saying Tbilisi becomes Dubai, but I am saying cities can evolve much faster than people expect, and more often than not, people get left behind. Now, here's what this means for existing owners. I'm talking to you now. This luxury wave affects the entire market, even if you don't own luxury property, because premium developments elevate expectations of the buyers and tenants, infrastructure, international perception, pricing psychology, surrounding districts, land values. And once a city develops a true luxury segment, the entire ecosystem changes. And here are the risks. Luxury markets can become speculative very quickly, especially in emerging markets like Tbilisi. Risks such as oversupply risks, unrealistic expectations, weak rental yields, developers overpricing mediocre projects, copycat towers, liquidity issues during downturns. Now here's something for you to remember, which is key. Not every expensive building is luxury. Some are simply just expensive. So the real question is not, can Tbilisi reach luxury pricing? The real question is, can Tbilisi create enough long-term value, infrastructure, safety, lifestyle, enough international demand to sustain it? Because luxury is not just fancy marbles and fancy lobbies. Luxury is trust. Luxury is city branding. Luxury is global relevance. We are witnessing the early stages of Tbilisi, entering a completely different chapter. A chapter where global capital increases, premium developments rise, international branding grows, and the gap between the average and prime real estate becomes much larger. In markets like this, the best assets often outperform everything else. For years, people came to Tbilisi because it was cheap. But the next 10 years may bring people who come because it becomes desirable. And that, my friend, changes the entire game. It's Anas Anani. If you enjoy these kind of real estate insights and investor perspectives, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.